North of 10 years after the occasions of the primary film. The film starts with Jake Contaminate portraying his humble and serene life as head of the Omatijaya group and raising a family with his significant other Neytiri, which incorporates his children Netium and Loak and his little girl Tuk, his embraced little girl Kiri, brought into the world from effortlessness Augustine's out-cold Na'vi symbol, and a human kid named Bug, the child of Miles Quaritch, who was brought into the world on Pandora however couldn't be shipped to Earth in cryostasis. While Jake can acknowledge Insect as a took-on child, Neytiri is skeptical of him given his human starting points. Nonetheless, every one of the kids blend and mingle well with one another including Bug, whom Kiri is friendly with despite the fact that he is a human. Bug doesn't embrace his human legacy and feels more lean to Na'vi culture and customs. They carry on with a typical existence until one day they notice an odd star in the night sky. Once more, much regrettably, they understand it's a RDA space transport with people getting back to Pandora to colonize it, raising another really working base. Among the fresh debuts in the boat is Colonel Quaritch, who has been cloned into a Na'vi body and with his recollections transferred from before his passing. Thus, Quaritch can't recall his destruction because of Jake yet is simply ready to remember the occasions before and his wrathful mission to kill Jake. To keep the RDA from taking advantage of Pandora once more, Jake drives an essential guerrilla activity against the RDA supply lines, debilitating them. In one of the activities, Loak, who ignores Netium and anxious to show off his abilities, attempts to help Jake in fight however gets injured. Jake protects and teaches him to not jeopardize his own security by being wild. That evening, while at the same time watching out for his injuries, Neytiri smoothly reminds Jake to be not excessively severe with Loak, to which Jake communicates his anxiety as a dad for the security of his kids. In the interim, the counter follow-up on the RDA supply lines doesn't agree with Quaritch, who starts a pursuit mission to kill Jake. During an energetic endeavor, Jake's youngsters alongside Insect investigate further into the rainforest. Unbeknownst to them, Quaritch and his group are at a similar area investigating the site where Quaritch will see his human remaining parts. A perceptive Loak sees their presence and rapidly illuminates his dad Jake, who is made aware of the circumstance. In any case, a conflict happens and Quaritch's crew catches Jake's kids. Jake and Neytiri show up in time and free the majority of them, however Bug is taken by Quaritch, who remembers him as his child. On board the boat, the RDA attempts to coercively separate data about Jake from Bug, who won't give. Evolving technique, Quaritch tends to Bug as his child and furthermore to make sense of more about the Na'vi in return for his opportunity on his side. In spite of the fact that UN agreeable and ignorant about Quaritch's real mission, Bug shows Quaritch Na'vi culture. Quaritch is likewise effectively ready to tame an Ikran flying animal as his vehicle. Realizing the peril, Insect's information on his whereabouts postures to their security and furthermore to keep away from another calamity. Jake persuades a hesitant Neytiri and his family to exile themselves from the Omatijaya tribe and retreat toward the eastern seaboard of Metkaina, a coral reef island whose faction and way of life is adjusted to Pandora's oceanic natural surroundings. Jake gives his main mantle to his replacement and passes on altogether to Metkaina. Once showed up, they are welcomed by the group boss Tonawari and his significant other Ronal, who is far-fetched of them at first. Notwithstanding, Jake makes sense of their circumstance and they are consented to remain and given cover. Despite the fact that a few tribesmen scorn Jake and his youngsters for their hereditary human legacy, the family learns the methods of the reef individuals, gaining the appreciation of them. Kiri is interested with the oceanic existence of Metkaina and fosters an otherworldly bond with the ocean and its animals, while Loak gets to know Sireya, the little girl of tribe boss Tonawari and his better half Ronal. While adjusting to their new climate, Loak gets into a battle with Sireya's sibling Ernung when he pokes an unrefined fun at Kiri and him of their blended human genealogy. Jake scolds his child for his way of behaving. At Jake's demand, Loak gets back to apologize to Ernung and his companions. Notwithstanding, they captivate him to an outing into the region of a hazardous ocean hunter and leave him abandoned as a vengeance. The ocean hunter attempts to go after Loak. Be that as it may, Loak is saved by and gets to know Payakan, a tulkun, a clever and pacifistic cetacean species whom the Metkaina think about their profound family. Upon his revisitation of Metkayana, boss Tonawari, who became mindful of Ernung's activities on Loak, requests that the previous apologize to Loak. Notwithstanding, Loak assumes the fault on himself, winning Ernung's kinship. He is likewise informed that Payakan is a pariah among his species. In the meantime, out traveling to a branch off of the Tree of Spirits, Kiri joins with it to meet her mum, however experiences a savage seizure. She is mended by Ronal, however when Jake calls Norm Spellman and Max Patel for help, Quaritch can follow them to the archipelago where the reef individuals reside. Carrying Insect with him, he secured a whaling vessel which is hunting Tulkuns to gather their mind compounds for making hostile to maturing cures. Quaritch starts to fiercely scrutinize the native clans about Jake's area, bombing that. He arranges the whaling group to wantonly kill the Tulkuns to draw Jake out. Loak intellectually interfaces with Payakan and discovers that the Tulkun was projected out on the grounds that he conflicted with the methods of his species and went after the whalers who killed his mum. At the point when the Metkayana learn of the Tulkun butchers, Loak takes off to caution Payakan, trailed by his kin, Sireya and Ernung. They find Payakan being pursued by the whalers, and Loak, Kiri and Tuck are caught by Quaritch. With their youngsters in harm's way, Jake, Neytiri and the Metkayana set off to face the people. Quaritch powers Jake to give up, however seeing his spirit sibling risked, Payakan assaults the whalers, setting off a battle which kills the greater part of the group and fundamentally harms the vessel, making it sink. Netium salvages Loak and Insect, yet is lethally shot. Jake faces Quaritch, who involves Kiri as a prisoner. At the point when Neytiri does likewise with Insect, Quaritch at first denies his child, yet stops when Neytiri cuts Bug on the chest. Jake, Quaritch, Neytiri and Tuck end up caught inside the sinking vessel. Jake chokes Quaritch into obviousness and is safeguarded by Loak and Payakan, and Kiri brings ocean animals to help her save Neytiri and Tuck. Bug finds and saves Quaritch, however passes on him because of his savagery towards the Na'vi and putting his objective to kill Jake's family over being his dad and turning into a decent man, driving him back to rejoin Jake's loved ones. After Netiam's burial service, Jake and his family choose to forever remain with the Metkayana.